this is actually Nissan. I don't know if there's anyone from Nissan here or anyone at the agencies, but they're a really good example of a business that's really embraced the mobile world and do some great campaigns. So here's the Yahoo page in Italy, I think, and here's the ad for Nissan Qashqai. It's a display ad, but if you think about the real estate that it owns on the page and the lack of advertising clutter around it, it's pretty impactful. And then it leads to this very nice, very simple, couple of very clear buttons, mobile optimized site. Very good. Well done, Nissan. The next thing I'd recommend, and the stuff that we see of some of the good advertisers doing this stuff, is to make sure that there is a, if you're a retail business, a location finder built into your site. So many businesses haven't done this, and yet that is one of the key things that people are doing when they're on their mobile phones, is to look for a retailer near them. And so McDonald's have done a nice ad here, leads to a site that very front and center, which is find the nearest McDonald's to you. It's not rocket science, but you'd be amazed at how many don't do that. The other thing that these guys have done well is that they're promoting their app. Now, for some businesses, getting to a mobile enabled site is the starting point. Thereafter, they should be thinking about having an app if they've got a rich enough content and rich enough experience. Apps are obviously more expensive than the mobile web, but for the big businesses that are big enough, certainly they should be embracing that. But the app versus the web discussion has been ongoing since the mobile phones came out. I think the discussion is still ongoing, and the recommendation is get your mobile web page sorted first, and then move on to apps from there. We're also seeing some quite nice examples of video-based advertising on the mobile phone. This is the fairly recent Axe or Lynx campaign where they were sending somebody to space. And this is something to think about in the markets where you've got good enough 3G and now 4G technology to stream videos. But it has been working very well. So, and I think in this market where you do have some very nice 3G networks, then it is something to consider. Next up, social. The mobile phone is a very social device. It is certainly something where people are spending more time socially than on the PC. And therefore, if you're generating campaigns, having a social element to it is very important. And you can see here's a nice ad that has a competition that can drive to their page on social networks. And this is an example of pretty much all of it together in all of those recommendations into one ad. I think creatively it could be a little bit better, but in terms of its operations and what it delivers to the user, it's got everything that a good mobile ad should have. It's got a location finder, you can actually buy a ticket there and then. This was an ad for The Hobbit, which is a movie, and it's got shareability, it's got a video in there, built in there as well. Interestingly, the entertainment industry has been the #1 advertiser on the mobile phone in the UK. Not surprising, I suppose, since they're appealing to those younger demographics. But if you want to look to good examples of mobile advertising, the entertainment industry is certainly one to look to. So, I'm going to show a video in a second, but someone's outside. Retail. This is probably the biggest battleground that there is on the mobile phone at the moment. Something like, there's a study done in the States that 39% of all people leaving a store was driven by them checking their mobile phone in that store. So for retailers, embracing and understanding how the mobile is impacting consumers is super important, and thinking about how they can advertise, how they can make sure that if somebody is searching or looking for different options when they're in the store, thinking about how they embrace the mobile phone, because it is, everybody is doing it. So this is an example from Adidas, and I think it's a really good example of how they've actually embraced this whole element. If you could play the video, please.
Pretty cool. I mean, I've never seen something like that before.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Mussten ja jetzt mal doppelt schauen, was es überhaupt ist, weil sowas haben wir noch nie gesehen, oder? Ja.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's something completely different.
Ja, und es ist auch cool, mit Model zu spielen.
They're actually the same size as the original. They were able to stretch and kind of dance or so. I think the best part is the interactive part. Just to connect your phone and play around.
Ja, und dadurch, dass man die Möglichkeit hat, eben sich mit dem Handy zu verbinden, ist es bestimmt voll cool, also auch in unserer Generation, weil ja jeder ein Handy besitzt. Ja, total cool, das ging total automatisch. Also wir haben eigentlich nur diesen PIN eingegeben und dann konnte man direkt Artikel reinziehen und das hat man dann direkt gesehen.
I logged in, then the shopping bag got active.
The cool thing about it is that you can drag it to the shopping bag and then buy it with your phone. So that was very pretty cool.
I mean, I'm a guy, so I don't do that much window shopping, but in this case, everything new is cool.
So I think you agree, pretty cool. And you know, if you think about the future of retailing, having that element of interactivity, whether it's in the shop front or actually within the store, to encourage people to go to their mobile phones, but to go to the mobile phones for that site, for that shop, you know, it's certainly part of the future, I think. The next example I want to show you is around tablets. There's been quite a lot of conversations around tablets as to whether, you know, I think the BlackBerry CEO came out and said that they'll be dead as a device, and yet they're the fastest shipping device in history, like faster than the mobile phone. Whatever, who knows what the future will hold? But at the moment, I think, you know, a lot of studies that we produce show that the actual experience, the consumer experience on a tablet, is this sort of lean back experience, this browsing experience, and it is a potentially very rich environment for advertising. I think of all the mobile, the widest mobile world, probably the tablet has actually had least attention in terms of thinking about it from an advertising perspective. This is one example which I think is brilliant, and shows how if you get creative and you really embrace the medium, you can generate some brilliant marketing, brilliant advertising. If you could play the video for this one, please. So, advert for car insurance, but really a really good way of using that medium. And my final example today, and talking about the Adidas one as well, you know, we in the digital world, we shouldn't, you know, forget that there's as proper marketers, there should be a media mix. It's not just about doing everything online. It's not just about doing everything on mobile. And the Adidas example is a good one where digital out of home was used as a way of activating mobile or vice versa. And TV is still a medium that offers, you know, a lot of opportunities to marketers. As a digital person, obviously, digital is much better. But no, as a marketer, you've got to have a decent media mix. And so this example is one that sort of shows how second screening or fourth screening, but the use of the mobile phone or the tablet in conjunction with the TV is here, and is definitely an incredibly important part of the media mix. So if you could play the video for this one.
Super Bowl is the most watched American television broadcast of the year, drawing over 100 million viewers. With almost 50 advertisers competing for viewers' attention, how do you stand out? We decided to game the system and add another screen. Over 50% of people go to a Super Bowl party for something other than watching the game. The Chevy Game Time app, a live second screen experience, gave them a legit reason to play with their phones for hours. The Game Time app was designed to hijack viewers' attention for the entire game. It gave people a reason to focus on our ads very closely and distracted them from watching our competitors' ads. We started by previewing our Super Bowl spots on the app, letting people know they could win cars from our commercials. On game day, we got people to answer trivia questions about our ads during commercial breaks. Since this could win you a Chevy, entire Super Bowl parties watched our ads very closely, first on TV, then again on the app. To make double sure people would be focused on our ads, we gave each app user a license plate. And if you spotted your plate in our commercials, you won the car. Which of course got app users to watch our ads again and again, all the while racking up our YouTube views. The app extended the game beyond TV by letting people interact with the broadcast in a totally new way. A team of 20 writers and technicians posed real-time questions and polls to the app, letting players react to what they just saw on TV. And when we asked people to do something, they did, at times drawing 130,000 players to answer a question at the same time, more than double the attendance at the Super Bowl stadium. By the end of the game, we had over 21 million questions answered. The app had over 700,000 users, was the featured app in both iTunes and Android stores, and made it to the top 10 in the iTunes App Store, past Angry Birds and Facebook. Owning the Super Bowl? Now there's an app for that.
Alright, now that's a serious advertising campaign, and as we know, an ad on the Super Bowl is something like $2 million, so for 30 seconds. But you know, you get the idea. There are some amazing opportunities out there in terms of using mobile phones and tablets in conjunction with television advertising. So to sort of summarize, let's be clear. You've got to align the media mix with today's habits, and today's habits are mobile phones. If you're not, frankly, I think I'm crazy, but anyway, you should be getting involved in the mobile right now. Ensure that you do have the basics right, which is mobile-enabled sites. Go web first, then go into apps. Rich media ads, location finders, social integration, video, app linking. It's all pretty obvious, but that's the sort of stuff that we should be doing now. And then use search and increasingly native ads for performance driving on the mobile phone. So those are my sort of 4 key takeaways. So if you haven't already taken that leap, as I said, take that leap of faith, because my next slide, which is my final slide, as you say, get off the stage, is something that I hope will reiterate everything I've been saying and make you realize that the mobile phone is here and it is a device that you should be marketing on and embracing. This slide, which I hope most of you have seen, but if you haven't, this was the inauguration of the Pope in 2005 and then again in 2013. That's the difference of the world that we live in. And with that, I say thank you.